Hey there, long time no see. This episode is just going to be a recap and update from everything I've been doing this summer. I have been filming episodes all throughout the summer, filming my traveling adventures, all of the people I've seen, all of the conflict in episodes and everything that I've been going through. But since it was such a busy, overwhelming, crazy, chaotic summer, I ended up building up so much footage, up to 10 hours of footage, that became a huge demand. Like, it was just hanging over my head. It felt like I had so much to do and I couldn't do anything until I finished it, and I would procrastinate it and I would avoid it every single day because I didn't want to do it. So I have all of the footage. It's not going to get edited and posted, but if I ever want to in the future, at least I have it. I actually did edit up to 4 hours of one of the videos I had, but then I ended up scrapping it because then I also tried to save the video and it wouldn't save anyways. So I can't imagine how it would have felt if I didn't make that decision and then tried to save the video. But let's start with the life update and a summer recap. After I left my dad's house in Florida, I went to South Carolina and I slept with my ex. And it was really confusing because like I got that little high from being with him, but I also left so unsatisfied because we didn't have as much sex as I was expecting. He was so indifferent to me, which obviously that was a given. But after I was done at his house, I ended up leaving and I went to Georgia. It was the 4th of July, so I hung out with one of my friends, Ivy. We watched fireworks together. I met the guy that she was talking to. It was just a fun little hangout, and then I slept over at her house and left early in the morning. I was supposed to sleep and camp in a couple of the states before I got to Louisiana, but whenever I got to Alabama and I went to the camp spot that I chose, it was so sketchy. I didn't trust it. It was like this random ass road in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of a highway. It was so sketchy. The second I got on the road, I lost service and I just said, absolutely not. So I tried to find a new camp, couldn't find a new camp. So then I ended up driving through Mississippi. And then once I got to Mississippi, I tried to sleep in a Walmart parking lot, which I have some footage from here. I'll pop up some of the footage that I have. Right now, I have like these blankets over my windows, and then I have covers on both of my back and front windows. It's fucking hot. But I tried to sleep in my car for the first time and it was just too hot. I really couldn't handle it. I was so nervous. I was terrified of getting towed or someone coming to my car. I just really couldn't get over the fears that I was having. I was scared of dying in my sleep because of the heat. So I ended up just driving overnight to Louisiana. So I drove until like 3 a.m. I finally got to my Aunt Kim's house and I slept in my sister and Amanda's apartment that they're staying in my Aunt Kim's house. After that, I stayed with my Nana for the rest of the time that I was there. I got to see a bunch of my family, got to hang out with them. It was just so great being able to see my family while I was traveling and while I was going down the southern states. During the time that I was in Louisiana, my best friend Emma, her mom had points to get her a plane ticket to go anywhere that she wanted, and Emma and I hadn't hung out in a while, and so since I was traveling, I wasn't in a designated area. She met me in Louisiana where I was currently staying. So whenever she flew into Louisiana, we ended up sleeping in my car together, which I did not sleep. I could not fall asleep. It was horrific. Like I tried the entire night. It was horrible. After that night, we decided to take an impulsive trip to Mississippi. It was the best decision we could have ever made because that was the best trip I have ever been on. It was such a good extension to my traveling. It was probably my favorite part of the entire summer. Her and I talked for 3 days straight. We swam in the lake, we went on hikes, we talked, we camped, we slept, we did a bonfire, we ate, we went to town. Like we did so many different things in Mississippi in that small area that we were in, and it was just so perfect. And we were also a little bit disconnected from the world because there was like no service where we were, so it was just nice being with each other and not having the distraction of social media all day every day. After leaving Louisiana, I went to Texas. I hung out with my best friend Haley for 2 weeks. I got to meet her son Noah, which he's the happiest baby ever. Like I have never met a happier baby, bro. It was so nice being with them. Her family is amazing. They were so welcoming, so kind. So many things went wrong though while I was in Texas. So Haley didn't have a car, so we were using my car. But one time while we were about to drive somewhere, my car started to make these really nasty noises whenever I would turn it on in the morning. It made the noise once or twice while I was camping with Emma, but I didn't think too much of it. As I was there, it kept getting worse and worse, and so eventually I took my car to her family mechanic, and he eventually told me something about how it was a fan or something, like it should be fine, you should be good to drive it, like yada, which didn't end up being the case, by the way, but it's okay. Noah ended up going to daycare for the first time, and then 2 days later he got sick, so then Haley got really sick. I got a little bit sniffly, but I never got really sick, thankfully. I ended up going to the hospital, play the clip. I got an order from Uber and I was on my way to Sonic, and suddenly I started to feel this like really intense pain in my abdomen or my ovaries. I couldn't really pinpoint where it was. It felt like that feeling of cramps whenever you get your period, and it's like that uncomfortable feeling you just can't make go away until it does. But then it kept progressively getting worse and worse and I couldn't make it stop. And then by the time I got to the Sonic, I was walking to the patio literally holding myself, like my vision was going black. I was in so much pain. Eventually I ended up in a fetal position, literally curled up on the concrete floor, wondering why I'm in so much much pain and why it's not going away. Haley ended up coming to the Sonic with her dad. She ended up taking me to the hospital in my car, and we were in the hospital for a couple of hours. They thought I had appendicitis. We couldn't really figure out what was going on. Turns out I have like 2 cysts on my ovaries. So we go back to Haley's house. I'm kind of just laying down, relaxing for the rest of the time. Due to my car making all of these noises and me not knowing, I'm freaking out. Like, I'm literally having episode after episode, like throughout this entire summer. I'm explaining my summer as if it's been like this fun, cool trip, which it has, but I was stressed, overwhelmed, dysregulated, overstimulated the entire time. So I'm like freaking out about my life, right? I am envisioning my life without my car. I'm envisioning myself on the road on the way to California and then to Canada, and my car just breaks down and I'm in the middle of nowhere with no support. I have no money. I am not doing good. Like, I just kept seeing myself homeless. You're going to end up homeless. You're going to end up homeless. You're going to end up homeless. And that was like my biggest fear. And I was really like getting bad. Like, roll the clips, roll the clips. So I made the decision to stop my traveling, to stop the whole living in my car era of my life. Also, my manic episode that I've been in since January in the beginning of the year, it was starting to come down and starting to crash. So at Haley's house, I started to feel a little bit more depressed. And I think I'm falling into a depressive episode even now. So that's so fun. That's so great. That's so great. So I start going all the way back the way that I came. So I went from Louisiana to Mississippi to Alabama to Georgia. I got to see my best friends Riley and Sharia. I got to see Emma again twice. Then I went to see my ex again. I stayed with him almost an entire weekend, and it just didn't really go as I planned. We were supposed to have sex. Like, I was there for sex. I knew what I was there for. I knew what he was using me for, and I knew what I was using him for. It was supposed to be a sex-filled weekend, and none of it. We had sex twice, and it's not for my lack of trying. Like, I tried to suck his dick almost the entire time I was there. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to suck his dick. Like, I wanted to suck his dick so bad. I even told him over text, being like, listen, you talk all this talk on text, but whenever I get there, are you actually going to want to be sexually active? Because the last time I went over for that one night, it was like nothing. Like, we had sex once that last time. I drove 7 hours out of the way to fuck him, and he fucks me once? What? You would think the man would be wanting to use me, but now he doesn't even want me sexually. He's so indifferent to me now. He doesn't even want me as a sex toy. Anyways, but I got some good closure. You know, I hugged him, I cried whenever I left, both times. But yeah, I did that. I caved. I went to go see my favorite person twice whenever I had the opportunities to, and I just didn't get what I wanted out of him. But after leaving South Carolina, I ended up back in Florida. I got to see my dad and my family again, and now here we are. I'm currently stationed at my dad's house. I'm so thankful they took me back. I called my dad crying one day while I was having an episode because I had to swallow my pride, and I had to be like, hey dad, my car's making noises. So what's happening in my life currently? I'm trying to find a job, and hopefully tomorrow I secure my job at Waffle House. I really want to be a server. It's something I know I'm good at. I need the tips. I need the money. I need something that I know I can manage, especially something with momentum. So hopefully Waffle House will be busy enough for me to have that momentum. I think I'm falling into a depressive episode. You know, after mania comes the depression. It's just how it works. It's fun. It's great. My BPD has been coming back this entire summer. I feel like has been a humbling experience. Every time I'm in a manic episode, I always convince myself, like, I am so healed, like, I am perfect, guys. Like, I've been faking this entire time. Like, it is so easy for me to get out of bed and think nice things about myself. It's so easy for me to get things done and follow my dreams. Well, that's not gone, but it's, you know, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm still in a much better mindset than I used to be. I feel like as I continue to grow as a person, like, I'm able to kind of retain that mindset. I feel like every single day, the more I learn, the more I put conscious effort into myself, I'm able to find new skills that I can use continuously whenever I'm dysregulated. But I've been having a lot of breakdowns. I've been having a lot of episodes. I've been very, very dysregulated. My financial situation is not quite the best. I'm still trying to get the money to fix my car. Uber is extremely slow right now. Like, I'm not able to make any of the money I used to make on Uber. I have no service in this area. AT&T and Winter Garden, I can't even do a simple Google search half of the time. And it's just all in all frustrating. So I wrote down some of the struggles that I'm currently struggling with right now to kind of update my mindset, my deficiencies, where I lack as a human, everything that's wrong with me and everything I need to fix about myself. So these are the big things that I wrote down that I've been struggling with. Feeling like my purpose isn't to be liked, but rather to ruffle feathers and be a mirror for people's shadows and demons they want to keep in the dark. So I'm a very honest person. I don't really like to hide things. If I have thoughts, I share those thoughts. If I have questions, I share those questions. If I have concerns, I share those concerns. And I feel like who I am and who I've become the last few months and how much I've gotten into religion, I feel like I am basically triggering everyone's demons. I'm everything this world doesn't want you to be. I question everything. I don't blindly believe things just because I'm told they're the truth. I don't submit to authority. I am actively defiant and I question authority because just because you say you have power over me, you don't have shit over me unless you're paying me. I mean, yeah, you can have authority over me if you pay me. But yeah, I feel like I'm a very light person. I try to keep things in the light. With religion, I ask all the questions that people get to just pass by. There are some questions that we just don't know the answers to. So whenever I ask those questions, it's like bringing it back up for those people to where you've done this thing in your life where you've kind of just gotten past this question. You've decided to just dismiss it and not care for it anymore and just believe regardless. I can't do that. Sorry, bestie. Like, that's not me. That's not who I am. I'm going to continue to question things and challenge things. Like, that's my purpose in life. Lacking understanding and compassion for darkness and stupidity, intellectually malnourished, belittling ego. I want to belittle the ego. I want to belittle the darkness. I want to belittle it. Like, you're so ignorant. Your lack of awareness is appalling. This is horrific behavior you're justifying just because you've tied your sense of self to it. You can't admit you're wrong because your entire community and sense of self and relationships are all dependent on you believing in this one thing. But that's okay because everybody has different paths in life. And that's okay. A lot of people in this world are not in an environment where they are encouraged to nourish their intelligence. They are not encouraged in an environment to be curious, to question things, to learn new things every single day, to question everything they think they know about themselves in the world. They're taught to think what they believe is the truth, surround themselves with people who believe that is the truth, and you don't need to learn anything new because what you know is all there is to know. If you don't feed your body with nourishment, your body starts to get weak. So some people's thought processes, their critical thinking processes, become weak. They don't really know how to ask the right questions. They don't really know how to question things in a specific way. The next one is relationship with ignorance. To kind of tie into what I just said, I feel like I've been going off of this personal definition of ignorance where I've kind of seen it in a light of ignorance is ignoring information you don't want to know. It's ignoring awareness. But the definition for ignorance is just general lack of awareness. So it's not a purposeful thing like all the time. I do think ignorance can be a conscious thing to where you consciously stay ignorant because you don't want to be educated about something because you have to change the way you think and live if you choose to educate yourself in that specific way. But I think ignorance is a natural part of life. We are ignorant beings as humans, which I understand. Like, I've always kind of understood that we are ignorant as humans. But I think that what gets me really, really angry and why I have such an unhealthy relationship with ignorance and why it triggers me so much is because nowadays there is so much harm in this world due to ignorance, due to people's compliance with ignorance, appeal to ignorance. It is just so, so frustrating. But we are ignorant beings. We're humans. We're in the third dimension. We have a denser consciousness. While I do think humans are evolving and our consciousness is evolving in many different ways, we are becoming more aware of things. We are learning new things. We're educated. We're growing empathy. We're understanding ourselves more as a species. We still are at a lower consciousness. We're not quite there yet. We still have to get ourselves out of this current paradigm. I struggle with wanting to know everything. I want to be a know-it-all. I am a know-it-all, but I'm not a know-it-all. You know what I mean? I want to be a know-it-all, but I act like a know-it-all. You get what I'm trying to say. But I can't possibly know everything about astrophysics and the stars and the sky, philosophy, science, history, math. I can't know everything in every subject of life. I can't be educated about everything, so inherently I am ignorant in so many areas of my life. Although I wish I wasn't, it's just how it is. It's this experience. We're running off of very limited information. We can only know what we're exposed to and what we teach ourselves, and that's okay. I think I just need to fix my relationship with ignorance in that sense to where I am so valid for being frustrated with the amount of complicit ignorance in this world. But I can't be belittling ignorant people because at the end of the day, I don't even think they're conscious to how much harm they're causing. I don't think they're conscious of the little part that they play in keeping our world stagnant and harmful and oppressed. I have to have a better relationship with my ignorance. I have to accept myself for being ignorant and my lack of awareness in many different areas of my life that I can't fully educate myself in yet. So I have to learn to accept other people's ignorance and not belittle them and not think less of them, not get triggered every single time I see an ignorant person say ignorant things. So I have to work on that, like, continuously. Like, my arrogance, my condescending nature sometimes pops out whenever I start to be aware of ignorant people. Be compassionate for the darkness. Like, there is so much we don't know. We are only going off of the information that we have in a moment, and that applies to you and everyone else. Having compassion for me, knowing that I'm limited in what I know and accepting that so I can accept it in other people, but I get really triggered, I get really angry, and I get really frustrated with this world. And I need to work on compassion and understanding the darkness and understanding that there are some things that we don't know that are going to stay in the darkness until we bring it to the light. And I can't control how fast or slow someone else broadens their awareness. Like, I have to just accept them for who they are and they're part of the journey, which not that I don't accept people, it's just very triggering. Like, I get very upset whenever I start to judge, and I tend to lack compassion for those areas of life, like the darkness, the ego, the ignorant. That's whenever I realize I'm not accepting. Like, you're not accepting, you're not radically accepting. Like, it doesn't mean you have to condone that kind of behavior and those thought patterns and that ignorance. It just means you're not in control of it. I'm not in control of that person. They are on their own journey, they're their own person. I can't control them. So there's no reason I should allow myself to get so dysregulated because of that. Struggling to take action and not to be lazy, lack of self-discipline. This is one I struggle with a lot because I really genuinely don't know if my executive dysfunction is truly a disability or if I'm just lazy. Don't get me wrong, I wrote it down because I do need to work on my self-discipline, because I can wake up, if I have a job interview, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow at like 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, probably a lot earlier, like maybe 7:30 in the morning. And it's gonna be because I have something to go to. So I can trust that I need to wake up. There is something else in the world depending on my existence being there at a specific time. But I don't trust myself, you know? I don't trust that if I need to wake up in the morning just to wake up in the morning so I can start a new routine, I can't trust that I'll be up in the morning. I'll probably just sleep in until 12 p.m., 1 p.m. So I want to work on my self-discipline in the areas that I can, to be able to trust myself more, to show up for myself more, because I just don't. In order for me to be able to have compassion and understanding for myself and my disabilities, I also have to show up for myself in ways that I can, because whenever I stop showing up for myself in ways that I can do my best to show up for myself, it kind of takes away from my compassion for what I really do struggle with that I have no control over, because then I start to mend them together and I start to shame myself and belittle myself as well. Another thing that I wrote down was learning through hypocrisy. I feel like I can be a hypocrite a lot of the time. I think every human can be a hypocrite a lot of the time. We are constantly preaching things that we sometimes don't even take our own advice. Like, have you ever been giving your best friend advice and then you listen to yourself and you're like, damn, I need to take this advice. I need to be applying this to my life. I think that it's really important for me to learn through my hypocrisy. Like, whenever I start to preach about things that I also need to apply, it's like, okay, that's actually a good thing, because that's teaching me the things I also need to work on, and it's making me self-aware about things that I need to be aware of and consciously work on. I also struggle with chronic guilt and shame. Since my last video, I still struggle a lot with shame. It's something that I've realized is a really big thing in my life, a lot bigger than I originally thought. I think that accountability should be met with hatred. I need to hold myself accountable. I need to shame myself into accountability. Like, if I don't make up for every single one of my mistakes, if I don't admit whenever I'm wrong, every single moment that I'm wrong, I am a horrible person and I'm just like my mom. And it's like this mindset of I need to hate myself into being better. And it's like, whoa. I don't think that's efficient. It doesn't seem to be productively working, and I think I need to change my method. I've tried and tried and tried with this method of hating myself into accountability, shaming myself into accountability, but I'm pretty sure that accountability is really important, but it has to be met with compassion just as much, and I'm struggling with that quite a bit. I'm struggling quite a bit with that. I don't know how to deal with that, because I think of myself worthy of hating. I am such a horrible person. Like, so many people don't like me. I say so many uncomfortable truths. I talk about so many things that people don't want to think about. People just don't like me as a person. I'm not someone people want to be around. I'm not someone worth listening to. Like, I am someone just so crazy, so stupid. Anything I say is incoherent. I just have so many insecurities. I have just so much I'm struggling with, and I'm really struggling with my sense of self recently as well. I don't really know who I am. I feel like I've been validating everybody else's perception of me that I'm assuming more than I validate my own perception of myself. I see myself through other people's lens that they might see me because of my TikToks, like random people on the internet who don't know me and they only see my TikToks. Oh, she doesn't like people who are religious. She hates everyone who's religious. She can't talk about this productively. And it's like, no, I'm constantly communicating with people. I'm constantly having productive conversations. I'm challenging my family members with my voice, not just through a camera. Like, I do it to their face. Like, I do it to their face. And I feel like I'm just hating myself for everything I actually love myself for, but because other people hate me for it, that means I must change it. Like, if other people don't like me, that means I have to change everything they don't like about me, because I need to be liked by everyone. Like, I want everyone to like me. I want everyone to fully understand me. I want people to understand my intentions, my actions, my heart, my soul. Like, I want to be fully understood. but I don't think I'm gonna get that. I think that there are some people who are going to go out of their way to misunderstand me. And a lot of it, the biggest part of all of this that I'm saying right now, is that it's all in my head. Like, it's all in my head. There haven't been many people that looked me in the eyes and told me, I hate this about you. No, I've just created those assumptions in my head and I just run off of them because I feel like I'm fighting this war in my head where it just feels like if I convince myself these are things people hate about me, these are the things I need to change about myself. But I've done that I'm not doing that anymore. I don't want to tailor myself to make people happy. Like I talked about with the first thing that I mentioned I've been struggling with. I think my soul is on earth to make people unhappy, to challenge people. There are so many things I need to work on. There are so many things I want to change about myself and fix about myself, but I think I'm just a human who needs to grow. Like I just need to grow. It's okay. There aren't things I need to change about myself. I just think I need to grow in areas. I need to grow in the way I make my videos. I need to grow in my patience. I need to grow in the way I articulate things. I don't know. It's really hard for me not to hear the voices in my head. Like even right now, like I hear the voices in my head where it's like, you're saying all of these things, but you're just like your mom. You're saying all these things, but nobody believes them. Nobody else but you believes this. Everyone else hates you. Everybody else thinks you're stupid. Everybody else thinks that you're crazy. Everybody else thinks that anything you say is incoherent. You have to translate yourself. Blah, 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 blah. All of these fucking voices. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the last subsection of this video. I'm going to talk about my current beliefs, my current understandings of the world, where my faith is. I currently believe that energy is existence and existence is God. What we consider to be God, everything that is, it's not a man. I don't believe it's a man. I believe that it's everything that is. This notebook, this hair tie, this pillow, this person, this consciousness, this hair. I think everything that is existence, and everything that is existence is made out of energy or consciousness, possibly in literally every way, shape, or form. Like this is just dense energy. This is condensed energy that is formed a specific way to give this experience in life, possibly, in theory. And so there's this one quote that I often think about where it's like, I think, therefore I am. And it's like this play on consciousness to where, what is the meaning of everything? What am I? I think, so I am conscious. I am aware of everything around me and my own existence. It's not like a denser consciousness like maybe an animal. An animal is not conscious of their existence. They're not conscious that they are a cow, that they have a specific way of living life. No, they're literally just an animal that eats, sleeps, breathes, and keeps itself alive. They haven't evolved and elevated in consciousness the same way humans have over the years. We are conscious. We are conscious that we are humans. We are conscious that we love. We are conscious that we experience. We are conscious that we have needs that need to be provided to us. Even though it is talked a lot about in the scientific community, it's still not definitively proven. That's why I kind of consider it to be faith. But if I believe that everything is consciousness, I am everything that is. I have the ability to be conscious of everything that is, so I am anything I choose to be, because I believe that energy and consciousness is the play of everything. Like there's an invisible energy field all around us, and our thoughts, our actions, our intentions all carry energy. It's all charged by the energy that we have. So I think that all of that matters so much because we are what we create ourselves to be. This is a very interactive experience. This is a co-creation of an experience of existence, of life. So whenever I say I am who I am. I am Stephanie. I am confident. I am loving. I am caring. I am open-minded. I am smart. I am intelligent. Like what I say I am, if I continuously put energy into that, is what I will become. So inherently, I think, therefore I am. I think, therefore I am existence. I think, therefore I am God, or what people would consider God, everything that is. I am just an extension of God, or I am God, because I am everything that is. I am a part of the entire puzzle of life. There was one day at Chick-fil-A where I was info dumping everything that was in my brain. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on screen, a little screenshot action. Even though, again, it could just be gibberish. Like, I don't even know if anything I'm saying makes sense. This could all mean nothing. Like, there could be no objective meaning to life. There could be no meaning to consciousness. There could be no higher power. There could be no energy. Like, I don't know. Like, I just like to think about that kind of stuff. So that's my current life update, my mental health update, my beliefs update, my update of everything, because I'm going to start recording regularly and hopefully keep up with the footage, because now that I have a place to live and I'm not struggling all the time and I'm not like, oh my God, I'm too busy to do anything, at least I have some free time where I'm able to be alone alone and decompress and have some time to edit alone whenever I need to. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. More to come, more thoughts to come. I'll be able to give a lot more clarity into my mindset as the time goes on with more videos that come out. Hopefully throughout time they get better and better and they're more enjoyable to watch. I feel like these aren't very entertaining right now. Like, you know, it's just me jibber jabbering, yapping all of the time. But if you like to watch someone yap, I feel like I'm the perfect person for you to watch. If you learned absolutely nothing from this video, I do apologize, but it's also your fault. Why the fuck would you watch to the end, you idiot? You're so stupid for watching to the end. If you didn't even like the video, you should have just clicked off. That's not my fault. Don't project it back on me. See, look at me belittling you. We talked about this earlier. Anyways, I love you. Please just leave this video knowing that you are sexy, you are valid, and you are so loved, and I will see you in the next video.
Hope you liked my videos. Is there anything else I'm supposed to say as a YouTuber?